Texas Senator Ted Cruz is not a very smart guy. Because while he goes around whining and crying about how the left is anti-free speech, he also simultaneously whines and cries about the political preferences of his own neighbors and the political signs that they choose to put on their own lawns. Now, in a recent interview, he was talking about the backlash that he's received as a result of abandoning his own constituents to go vacation in the Ritz-Carlton in Cancun. This is, of course, while Texans were dealing with rolling blackouts in the middle of a brutal winter storm. Then it turns out that this text message group was leaked to the public. Heidi Cruz was outed as someone who was helping to coordinate this vacation, and she was not happy about it. He talks about that as well. Let's listen to more of what he has to say, and then we'll discuss.
I was wondering if you had been able to, we don't need a specific name, investigated the individual from that text message group who leaked the conversation, because that is just, of all the betrayals.
I would spend time on that. But
I would really, I know some folks I'd put on the case for something like that.
Yeah, I will say Heidi's pretty pissed at that. She actually was over to a neighbor's house yesterday, sort of walking through. So she texted several of our neighbors. Now, look, our neighbors, we've got a number of Republicans who are neighbors, but we also have a number of Democrats. Right. And so, with folks on our street who put up Beto signs, which I thought was a little rude. It's a sign of how ridiculously politicized and nasty and just, here's a suggestion: just don't be. Just treat each other as human beings. Have some degree, some modicum of respect.
Have some modicum of respect, the kind of respect that he showed the fine people over in Texas who were suffering, and he decided to just bail and enjoy a nice beach vacation in Cancun. That's the kind of respect that he'd like to see. Besides which, who cares what kind of political signs your neighbors have? That's their right. And I don't know, Ryan, I was led to believe by right wingers like Ted Cruz that free speech is everything. That's what makes this country so great. It's kind of weird that he's whining about political speech right now.
Right, her speech was amplified. She was only speaking to a few people, but all of a sudden she was able to speak to the entire world about
his wife.
Yes, about where they were going. But it's kind of annoying that for the Democratic Party and the future of the Democratic Party that a bunch of Ted Cruz's neighbors in this richest of suburbs in Texas are becoming Democrats. But that actually is the party, and so Heidi Cruz needs to respect the sanctity of the text message chain and the group text, and not bring in people that she's not sure are going to leak. Clearly, I guess she thought that there was nothing wrong with what she was doing. And you have to get to that place. Maybe consider the opposite type of a politician. Let's say that Bernie Sanders had won the White House. They implement Medicare for all. We're now in a place where we actually have single payer. A bunch of the senators, therefore, and other movement leaders around the country represent different states and districts. And now there's a healthcare crisis. This system that you have designed is now falling apart at the seams. Because Ted Cruz and his radical deregulatory philosophy designed this Texas energy policy. It's now falling apart at the seams. It's an absolute, complete ideological failure. You would think on the left, if a socialist senator was in a state where there's some healthcare crisis that's related to single payer blowing up in everybody's face, the first thing they would do is not flee the state and head somewhere else. This is your entire project. This is your entire political project, the thing you've been working on your entire life. It's falling apart. Like it's your job to try to make this work. Forget helping people. Forget making people's lives, or forget saving lives. Your entire life's work is on the line here. And for them to think that, well, no big deal. It's nicer in Cancun right now, and $309 a night for the Ritz. hey, that's less than half the price of a migrant detention center. So let's head there. Shows that they weren't even thinking that their neighbors might consider this to be foul and leak it.
That they did, exactly. That's what really speaks volumes to me, right? The fact that this seemed to catch Ted Cruz and his family off guard, as if the decision to do this wasn't a problem. Like he didn't pause to think about, like in the very least, the optics for his own self-interest, right? I'm not naive enough to think that Ted Cruz actually sees himself as a public servant or sees his career as something that's meant to help people, represent people. And Ted Cruz isn't the only congressional lawmaker who acts this way. They don't see this as a public service. They see this as an opportunity to further their career. But at the same time, does he even really care about that? I mean, it doesn't really seem like it. It seems like this position of power, being able to serve as a United States senator, is just a way to cash in, right? You're a senator for now. You're making all these connections. We still have this system of a revolving door, right? You're a lawmaker, then you're a lobbyist, and then after you're a lobbyist for a certain amount of time, maybe you'll get nominated for some position in some cabinet. And it's always about me, 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 me. I mean, the fact that our lawmakers don't have to divest from single stocks, that is a problem. Everything is incentivized in such a way to attract people who do not see this as a public service, but see this as an opportunity to personally enrich themselves.
Right.
Although
Heidi had worked maybe still works for Goldman Sachs, and like their family's doing extremely well. And I think for Cruz, this is less about money than just absolute power hungry. He has. There's that famous video of him as like a lanky 12-year-old saying that he's going to be he's going to rule the world one day. He's wanted to rule the world since he was 12 years old. He has that will to power. What's amazing is that he actually admitted to a local radio station or a local TV station that when he sat down on the plane as it was about to take off, he felt like he had done something wrong. And he used the word wrong, which is unusual for him because he's not a person that speaks in terms of morality. He's all about the logic. He's going to out logic you on Twitter. He's like, I felt like it was wrong because it was wrong. And he said, even though I can't, there's not a whole lot I can do as a United States senator or staying in Texas, it just felt wrong to be leaving the state. It was. And so think about that. If it was wrong, if he felt like it was wrong, then of course his neighbors also felt like it was wrong. So they identified a wrong and they exposed it. They helped to expose it to the press. And so by his own logic, and Cruz loves logic and Cruz loves by your logic, he should respect the moral choice that was made by his neighbors to see a wrong happening and expose it to the public.
I certainly respect it.
Gotcha.
Good on his neighbors. I love it.
And the United Airlines employee who let us know about his flight. Good on them too.
Yeah. But I do love that the conservative, focus on this story isn't the wrong action that he took. It's all about, we got to find out who did it, who leaked it. Do you know who leaked it? We got to find the leaker. I mean, it does remind me a lot of what we heard.
Which was what was fun. The New York Times had 2 sources on that group text. So
it's amazing. It's amazing.
At least 2. Yeah.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.